Hey Canucks fans, the Vasili Podkolzin watch is already on. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, call it One Take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, December the 26th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. I hope you're doing well and that you've had a great Christmas break so far. My family and I, we watched the movie Soul, the new movie from Pixar, and as I just tweeted about, really liked it. I thought it was excellent. The music, of course, which I enjoyed, the themes, the animation, always a strong suit of Pixar, and it was unapologetically black in the way that it honored African-American culture and the references and the history of jazz. So overall, I thought it was a really nice, refreshing movie from Pixar. So that was my unsolicited Pixar movie review. If you want to watch Soul, make sure you check it out. Also, because today's Saturday, that means tomorrow's Sunday. That means tomorrow it's Ask Me Anything. So here's my weekly call out for questions that I can answer in tomorrow's vlog. Just mark it AMA, meaning Ask Me Anything, and I'll make sure that I get to it for tomorrow's vlog. So again, leave a comment below with your questions that you want me to tackle for tomorrow. And of course, that means the live stream is back to normal on Monday night this week. The World Junior Championships have started, and Vasili Podkolzin and his Russian team defeated the USA 5-3 in the first of each team's preliminary round robin. And already, Canucks Twitter was bumping yesterday. A lot of people talking about Podkolzin, a lot of people thinking he had a pretty solid game, liking some of the things they saw. Other people saying he didn't play well, and they're already worried about him. I don't know how you can be worried about him after one game. But if this is any indication of the type of energy and the type of emotional investment that Canucks fans are going to put into Podkolzin, I guess overall it's a good thing. But with anything like this, I think moderation is key. Of course, I'm probably the first guy who would have been tweeting like crazy if he had a hat trick last night saying, "Oh, what a great pick in the 2019 draft," which I'll get to in a second. But so moderation is key. Obviously we shouldn't get too high with the highs. Shouldn't get too low with the lows, especially with the World Junior Championships, which isn't the end-all and be-all, although very important, especially in the opening game of the round robin. So even within the World Junior Championships, let's see what happens when in the elimination games or in the medal round, when the games start to mean more. I think that's a better indication of how good a player is going to be. But even in the big picture, I don't think a World Junior Championship is going to make or break someone's career, and we shouldn't anchor someone with such expectations or a reputation coming out of one tournament. Having said that, obviously all eyes are on Vasili Podkolzin because of how much hype there has been around him, how much we want him to work out, how much the Canucks really need him to work out, given that he'll be entering, obviously, as a rookie, 3 years cost-controlled in a team that's going to have to pay Pettersson and Hughes and maybe Besser again, and Horvat, Miller, Demko, like all these contracts are going to start to come up in the next 2 or 3 years. So things that we need to think about, obviously, is we want to hit on our first round draft picks for sure, especially if it's a top 10 pick. So let's talk about Vasili Podkolzin. Let's talk about his game first, then I'll just quickly talk about the draft, then I'll ask you for your input. His game, as I talked about with Chris Faber a couple days ago in my Zoom chat, and Chris has watched a lot of Podkolzin footage from the KHL. His strength is in the defensive zone and the neutral zone. As Chris Faber said, the first 2/3, i.e. his own zone and the neutral zone, is where you're going to see how good Podkolzin is, how effective he is, how strong he is. We've seen a bit of that last night in the game, how well he controls the puck, how well he fights for the puck, how strong he is on the skates. We saw that also when he got hit with that almost blindside hit, and he didn't even fall down, right? They caught him across the chest and he just kind of stumbled and then caught his breath on the bench, so to speak. So you can see Podkolzin's sturdy, he's strong, and he's going to be good with the puck once he gets it, and he's going to be like a hound, like a dog retrieving the puck, and he's going to be tough to play against. His offensive game maybe needs to be developed a little bit, but I'm not sure if we're asking him to be like a prolific goal scorer. Yes, if we want him in the top 6, he's got to be able to hold his own offensively and chip in here and there, make smart plays, which I think he can. But I don't think we should expect him to be like a sniper. That's not what Podkolzin's game is. A lot of people are trying to compare him to Horvat, and I think that Podkolzin is probably going to be a better defensive player than Horvat ever will be. But I'd say Horvat might have a tiny bit more offensive upside, especially in the shooting, in the goal scoring department, whereas maybe Podkolzin would be more of a setup guy. But I think people love the determination of both guys. They love, they've called him Bull Horvat before, just the way he's hard to get, hard to get the puck off of. So I can see some similarities for sure, but it's not a perfect comparison. So overall, I'm excited to see what Podkolzin can do, and I'm excited to see, how he can change the dynamic of the Canucks in their top six. Now, I remember, and you guys know that I was at the draft in 2019 in Vancouver. The first night was June 21st, which is the night I'll talk about, and then the second day was June 22nd, and that was my birthday, my 45th birthday. And you guys might remember, actually, in between night one, night two, and day two, I was actually pulled an all-nighter because I was volunteering at my son Sean's after grad party at his high school. So I was dealing like blackjack and serving roulette the whole night, which was pretty fun. But yeah, I went to the draft, went to Sean's after grad, then dragged Sean with me to day two of the draft, and that was a lot of fun. And then right before day two was the JT Miller trade. So there's a lot of buzz in Vancouver at Rogers Arena during that time. But the night before, on the Friday night, it was interesting. We knew that Jack Hughes was going to go number one. We knew that Canuck was going to go number two. And then it was interesting. You're looking at the strong Canadian players like Doc, who's number three, and Byron, who's number four, right? And then you thought of Cousins and Newhook. So there's some Canadian guys that were Peyton Krebs. There were about 5 or 6 Canadian guys that were going to go in the top 20. Then you had the 5 or 6 U.S. guys, of course, started with Jack Hughes, but there was the Turcottes and the Zegras of the world, and the Caulfields and the Boldies. So there's Cam York. So there were a lot of those guys there. And then you had the European players, of course, led by Kako, but then there were guys like Podkolzin, where would he go? Broberg and Sider and the guys. So it was very intriguing. So again, it started off with Jack Hughes and Kako, no surprises. Then Kirby Dach went third. Bowen Byram, of course, playing for the Giants. Everyone cheered for him, so 4. And then it got interesting after that. Actually, Turcotte at 5. That was a smart pick, and that was, I wouldn't say no-brainer, but that was a totally acceptable pick. And then it was kind of, the Detroit Red Wings took Moritz Seider at number 6 out of Germany. And not a lot of people, at least I didn't know prospects overall. They're not my thing, right? But I didn't know a lot about him. And that was the first pick, I think, in the crowd at Rogers Arena, where there was an audible gasp when Seider was picked at number 6, because I think people had him relatively high, but not that high. Then it went Dylan Cousins, Philip Broberg, and then it went Trevor Zegras. So then it was the Vancouver Canucks' turn. So still on the board were Podkolzin, but we're also really good players like Matthew Boldy, like Spencer Knight, Cam York, Alex Newhook, Cole Caulfield, of course, Peyton Krebs. And when Stan Smyl went up and he thanked everyone for being there, talked about how excited it was that Vancouver welcomed everyone to Vancouver. And then, you guys know this, it's kind of become a meme. He absolutely butchered Podkolzin's name. I think he butchered also, I'm not sure if he butchered St. Petersburg, I can't remember, but I definitely know that Vasili Podkolzin turned out to be Vasili Podkolzin, right? It didn't sound right. Everyone knew what he was trying to say when he was actually saying it, as soon as he said St. Petersburg. But the way that Vasili Podkolzin did not roll properly off of Smyl's tongue, I think there was half a second of an audible what? And then, you guys, there was such a crazy buzz in the arena. Like, there was some gasps, there was some cheering, there were some people actually booing. And I think a lot of people had their heart set on, I thought it was going to be actually Matthew Boldy at the time, because I was high on Boldy's game. Outside shot, it may have been Cole Caulfield, but I had Boldy and Caulfield maybe, and even Newhook. Those 3 guys were kind of at top of mind for me. But then when they picked Podkolzin, I started cheering. I really did, because I remember, in fact, I think I have footage, because I was at the draft. I have footage of when Smyl did announce Podkolzin as our 10th overall pick. And I'm going to link that in the description below, because you can hear like some and the different crowd reactions. I thought it was quite fascinating. But you guys remember, throughout the year, up until about February or March, Podkolzin was ranked number 3 behind the big 2 of Hughes and Kako. And everyone's talking about how he's going to be really good. And then his stock slowly started falling for the next 4 months, March, April, May, June, while other players' stock rose. And then I think he was too much of a talent, an intriguing talent to pass up at the number 10 slot. So I'm going to let you form your own opinion. I'm going to show you the video down below in the description. But seeing all the back and forth on Twitter yesterday about Podkolzin, and then me being there at the draft when we chose him, I kind of want to talk about it today, and really just to say to everyone, slowly roll, including myself. Let's not get too excited. Of course, let's not get too down. It was game one of a 4 or 5 game round robin, and then the medal round. So let's see how he does as the tournament progresses, and then and we should be excited. We should be supporting him. We should be ready to go, and can't wait to indeed welcome to our lineup whenever his KHL and World Championship commitments end. So it might not be, let's not get our hopes up, it might not be the end of this upcoming season, but he'll be there for the start of next season for sure. But who knows if he somehow gets here earlier than that. But we'll see. My whole point is I'm excited to see him, and I'm going to be watching with great interest during the World Juniors, but I'm not going to get too high, nor I'm not going to get too low. I just want to cheer him on and see how he does well. Hope that he does well, except when he's playing against Canada. No, I think he can do well against Canada as long as Canada wins the game. Okay, Canucks fans, let me know what you think. Tell me what you remember about Podkolzin being drafted 10th overall a year and a half ago. Tell me what you think about his game right now, what you're excited about for him, and also leave a question for my Ask Me Anything vlog tomorrow. Leave a comment below. I will read, react, and reply, or mark it for tomorrow. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.